KMTV, I'm Louisa Britton. Your top stories tonight. Guilty man admits killing in horror Costa crash. Hundreds caught out in Medway Tunnel. And it's $1 million for the misfits. But first this evening, a pensioner's admitted killing a woman when his car smashed through the window of a Costa coffee shop on Christmas Eve. Valerie Deacon died earlier this year when 87-year-old David Lord drove his Audi A4 into the cafe in Westerham. Mrs. Deacon was sitting with her best friend. Her daughter was in the toilets at the time. Lord had denied causing death by dangerous driving at a previous court appearance, but changed his plea to guilty at Maidstone Crown Court earlier. At today's hearing, prosecutor Ian Hope said the only sensible explanation for the tragedy was that Lord hit the accelerator instead of the brake. He'll be sentenced in January. Now, KMTV can exclusively reveal the number of drivers caught going over the speed limit through the Medway Tunnel. Cameras inside have been switched on, and many of those who aren't abiding by the rules have been slapped with a hefty fine and points on their licence. Josie Hannett reports.
Lots of people are driving fast through the Medway Tunnel, and many of us have certainly been furious waiting in traffic in the infamous gridlock hotspot. Well, now that police have been clamping down on speedsters, KMTV can reveal 545 drivers have been slapped with fines for going over the 50 miles per hour limit. That's more than one driver every hour. Well, despite being installed back in June, the cameras actually have only just been switched on the 4th of October. Now, I'm about to enter the tunnel. A camera will clock my registration and the time that I go into the tunnel, and how it works is the average speed camera will then clock the time I leave, and that way it can work out the speed that I've travelled. The whole point of the cameras is to stop people speeding through and to ease congestion.
Tunnels are dangerous places to drive through, and unfortunately the rat racing and the driving and speeding from St Mary's Island through to Medway City Estate has been a problem. Lots of young people, we know some of the tragic accidents that have happened recently, some of the dangerous activities of young people using it as a racetrack. I hope that it's contributing to stopping that.
More than 45,000 vehicles go through the Medway Tunnel every single day, and it's fair to say that traffic in and around it at the worst of times can be an absolute nightmare. But with the new cameras up and running, at least rebellious drivers will be facing the consequences. Josie Hannett for KMTV in Medway.
Meanwhile, thousands of drivers are breaking the new 50-mile-per-hour limit on the Sunnat Way, but not a single ticket's been handed out. Our reporter Dan Wright went out for a drive and found dozens of cars speeding past him, breaking the limit. The new speed was introduced last month between Marshside and Dargate. Kent County Council said they cut the limit as the road surface is uneven, but no ticket has been handed out to speeding drivers. 2-minute silence was held across Kent to remember those who've died in combat for their country. I went to Chatham Dockyard earlier today. Remembrance services took place across the country to commemorate Armistice Day, the day the First World War ended almost 100 years ago. And at the Chatham Historic Dockyard, which used to be an important naval base, people gathered around the HMS Cavalier destroyer to remember those who have died in the armed forces. Well, I'm standing in front of the memorial to the destroyers that were sunk during the Second World War, and during the ceremony this morning people came to lay their wreaths at the base of the sculpture to commemorate those who've lost their lives during times of conflict.
Great to see so many people who've travelled all over the country actually. I literally think about all those that have given their life for the service of their country, and you know, having served my own country in the Navy for 37 years, and seen and lost friends and colleagues in the various conflicts that we've had over the last 40 years, then I reflect as well on the people that I knew.
This is Louisa Britton for KMTV in Chatham. Now, a bizarre petition's been set up calling for Sheppey to be turned into a real-life Jurassic Park. It was created by Bertie Crablebs and already has more than half the supporters needed to send the petition to MP Gordon Henderson. The petition says it wants to bring a bit more dinosaur magic to the island, but will also be careful with security since it's gone wrong so many times on the big screen. And finally, here's something we all dream of. A syndicate from Maidstone have won £1 million on the lottery. The team of DHL workers who call themselves the Misfits have bagged more than £75,000 each. The winnings are going to be spent on a number of luxuries like a new conservatory, cars and holidays. One of the Misfits is going to spend her winnings on something a little bizarre, an extra wheelie bin from the council. Well, that's all from us this evening. We'll be back again tomorrow with all the latest stories from across your county. In the meantime, don't forget you can always keep up to date by listening to KMFM or logging on to kentonline.co.uk. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.